Happy
Be
Monstering!
monstering!
And welcome to another episode of My Singing Monsters Live, your one-stop shop for everything to do with My Singing Monsters. We are your hosts, Monster Handler Matt.
And monster handler Eric. Feeling
Hello,
festive this
you
week.
are feeling festive and you are looking festive, Monster Handler Eric. Oh, it's so nice that you've donned that same hat that can be seen on your human expert counterpart in our social post from today, announcing this episode 109 of My Singing Monsters Live. We've got lots of exciting stuff to talk to you about today. Obviously, it's been yet another action-packed week in the monster world, in both My Singing Monsters and Dawn of Fire. But before we talk about all that stuff, we've got a couple of housekeeping things that we've got to tell you about. So the very first of those is the giveaway. Every single episode of My Singing Monsters Live, we do a giveaway. And whether this is your first time tuning in or your 109th, the system has been mostly the same, but just in case you're unaware, Monster Handler Eric is going to take it away and explain to you how you can enter the giveaway.
All you have to do is type !giveaway into the chat. At the end of the episode, we will announce one winner. If your name is announced, please put your BBB ID /friend code into the chat, as well as comment below so that we can deliver you your prize.
Now, what is the prize? Well, we're going to keep that as a secret until the end of the episode. But stay tuned, of course. The other exciting item that we have to share for you today is that you can now check out some awesome Snapchat lenses that we have uploaded to Snapchat that you can turn your, I'm sure it's a beautiful face, but if you want your face to be impossibly even more beautiful, you can use these Snapchat lenses to transform yourself into these singing monsters, and they have sound when you open your mouth, they correspond to your eyes, they use augmented reality. It's very exciting. So what you do is you unlock these lenses for 48 hours by taking a photo of these snap codes and then scanning them from the camera roll. There are instructions in Snapchat, there are instructions on the internet. It took me only a few seconds to figure out how to do it, and that's a huge accomplishment on the part of me, because sometimes you don't know these things, but I can assure you it's quite a simple process. So make sure to check out those Snapchat lenses on Snapchat. If you're on Snapchat, go check them out and message your friends a big surprise of you with a fur corn head, or as a moth, or as a watery toe jammer. Oh, the possibilities are endless. We look forward to seeing you messing around with those fun Snapchat lenses. An early yay gift, perhaps. We'll talk about the Festival of Yay in just a second, but first thing we have to do is we have to go back in time all the way to the dawn of the monster world and see what happened on this day in monster world history. Now, this is an absolutely stacked, action-packed on this day. There are two screens here that we need to go through. There's so much going on. Okay, so almost on this day in 2013, Sugarbush Island was added for the very first time. A special gift for all those players that had been enjoying Sugarbush. I got to meet the other remaining members of the Sugar fam on a brand new island. This is one of the oldest islands in the game, of course, but it's still one that gets my feet a tapping and my head a nodding. I love Sugarbush Island. Looking forward to 2014, almost on this day, Rare Shrub made its first appearance. Now this monster obviously has quite a long beard. Monster Handler Eric, I know that you've trimmed your beard over the course of My Singing Monsters Live history, but yours grows much faster than mine, so I'm always envious of yours and Rare Shrub's beards. Almost on this day in 2015, this was alluded to in last week's episode, the Rare Wubbux on Plant Island made its first appearance. This was an exciting event because all of the rare natural monsters had been released at that point, and we were wondering, well, what's going to happen? And then the Rare Wubbux appeared, and it was very exciting. Then, in 2018, in Dawn of Fire, Scups and Reedling were added to the continent and their respective outer islands for the very first time. A couple of natural monsters that hadn't been heard from in the Dawn of Fire, and then they got their opportunity to shine. Okay, moving forward to the second phase of our On This Day recap. Almost on this day in 2018, the epic T-Rox, that cybernetic, exciting pupil, an acolyte of the Rebros mechanical dealings, available for the very first time. Then, on this day in 2019, Fairy Island came out. The list goes on. There's just so much exciting stuff. This, of course, was the second magical island to be discovered and featured the fan favorite Flute Fly making its official debut in My Singing Monsters. It had been lurking in the code for quite some time, and we knew that its face was green, but we didn't know much else about it. And then also, almost on this day, Dawn of Fire 2.0 came out, and with it, of course, that exciting phenomenon, the Prism Gate, this brand new feature in Dawn of Fire. And at the same time, we had prismatic furcorns available in the very first Prism Gate event almost on this day, just about a year ago in 2019. Woo! All right, so that was a huge on this day, but now let's look forward to what happened this week in the monster world. So the final quest of the Natural series had arrived, aptly named It's Only Natural, and you can complete it to win a special trophy. Now, as I mentioned, this sort of concludes the Natural series of quests, and you might have noticed in version 3.0.3, we now gave each quest a number, so it's easy to know which is a permanent quest and which is a limited quest. We have, of course, new limited quests happening, but we're going to talk about those in just a second. So, obviously on Wednesday, this was the buzz on everyone's minds. You know, the buzz on your mind, that's an expression, right?
Sure.
The Festival of Yay began on Cold Island. Yule, again, a monster that's been around for many, many years, but of course there's something new about Yule this year, isn't there, Monster Handler Eric? This is available to breed or buy for a limited time on not just Cold Island. But now it can appear on the Colosseum. I know this caught many players by surprise. They're going, well, what's the plan here? What are you doing, Monster Handlers? Well, we'll tell you about it in just a second. But first, we got to talk about the other things that are going on during the Festival of Yay. For example, you can get beautiful, gorgeous, lovely, themed animated decorations and obstacle decorations done up in their best Yay-tide dressings on Cold Island, and those animated Festival of Yay themed decorations you can put just about anywhere you want. That wasn't the only thing that were added on Wednesday. As of Wednesday, natural rares and epics are available to buy or breed for a limited time on the Light and Psychic Islands. Very interesting stuff. The first magical island that we discovered, Psychic Island, of course, formerly Fire Frontier, and then the most recent magical island that we discovered, Light Island, are the first of the 4 magical islands to receive these rare and epic visitors. Very exciting. So it gives you an opportunity to sort of get some new neighbors, share in the general warmth and affection of this nice time of year when you consort with kith and kin. Lots of exciting stuff. Okay, so a little over an hour ago, we had a series of seasonal sales go live. We had the Rare and To Go promotion in which Rare Yule is available to buy or breed. This, of course, former Grinch, a reformed Grinch, previously did not have any sprinkles in its beard, but of course the story of Sprinkles shows us that it finally embraced the Yay cheer and joined in on the fun. Now, in addition to that, you can get up to 60% off featured diamond packs for a limited time, including the steeply discounted Diamond Dumpster. Okay, now let's move on to exciting battle event news. So, the very first Versus Challenge concluded just a little over an hour ago, and on behalf of all the Monster Handlers, we would like to extend a very hearty congratulations to our first ever Rank 1 Versus champion, Amy Plays MSM. They climbed all the way to the top of the Champions Guild, and for those who achieved very top ranks in the Champions Guild, a little surprise was waiting for you. This was sort of sneak peeked in our 3.0.3 teaser trailer, but now the jig is up. The cat's out of the bag. The gas's out of the bag, I should say. So if you achieved rank 1 in the Champions Guild, you should have received your gold crown in your mailbox. So Amy Plays MSM, congratulations on receiving that coveted prize. Monster Handler Michael is very excited for you. If you landed between ranks 2 and 11, you are bestowed the silver champion's crown. And then if you landed in ranks 12 to 36, you can expect to receive the bronze crown. Now, these are very exclusive decorations that you can track back to your other islands to celebrate your accomplishments on the Colosseum. Very coveted stuff. A very small select group of players who were rigorous combatants in the Champions Guild in versus mode on the Coliseum get an opportunity to show off these awesome, beautiful, animated decorations. They're sort of like super special trophies. So congratulations again to our first ever Rank 1 versus champion. Amy plays MSM. Will you climb to the top of the Champions Guild next week? Well, let's talk about what's going on right now. We've got battle events starting, limited quests. We've seen these before. The Pugilist quest, where you can get the old 1-2 thump costume for Pummel, and the Sentimentalist quest, where you can get the helpful rings for Noggin, and alongside that, the lovely Sentimentalist's trophy. And then this particular versus challenge should be a little bit be familiar to people, should come as no surprise, but this is the Sticky Wicket versus challenge. The Sticky Wicket. Perhaps you know what we're making an allusion to there, as you see that the prize that you can win for getting all the way to the end of the versus challenge is that beautiful Plans for Nigel costume for Scups. And of course, if you get all the way to tier 1, you can be eligible to participate in the very next Champions Guild. Now, of course, these limited time battle events are unlocked after completing Quest 6, Three's a Crowd on the Coliseum. So if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Get in there and get some cool costumes for your monsters. And then finally, another exciting thing that was added just today is a new kind of quest, a seasonal quest. This is the Days of Yay. Now, the Days of Yay, for those monster handler apprentices and those aspiring members of the community who have stuck around with us for so many years, this might sound familiar to them. This Days of Yay. There was a previous event that we'd run, but we decided to resurrect the name because it's such a fun one. It's so apt, it's so descriptive. And so all you need to do is teleport a level 5 Yule or buy one on the Coliseum, and that is the requirement for this seasonal quest. And then you complete this limited quest and you can win a special costume and a very special trophy. It's depicted there on the right-hand side of the battle frame there that Yule is wearing. It's glorious fursuit costume that you can get exclusively by completing this seasonal quest, the Days of Yay. Just like the other limited quests, it can be unlocked once you complete Quest 6, Three's a Crowd. Moving over to Dawn of Fire, we've got a limited monster promotion this weekend where you can get 50% off the young and adult Candelabra. Such a beautiful monster, 5-element, a quint-element monster. This monster, alongside Dromedary, has a special place in Dawn of Fire as one of only 2 quint-element monsters that have been discovered. And this monster has a lot of responsibility as a quint-element monster. It sort of likes to inspire other monsters, but maybe it's been looking for something new to do. I don't know. Is there something that maybe Candelabra wants to check off of its list before the end of 2020? I don't know. I couldn't possibly tell you. But we do know that it is. But we do know that it is on a special promotion this weekend. And if you're looking to buy one of those candelabras and you find yourself a little short in the diamonds department, well, look no further than our 40% more sale in diamond packs. All of them give you 40% more diamonds this weekend only. So make sure that you stock up and get yourself some candelabras. Who knows when you're going to need them? I certainly don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know, Eric? All right.
I don't know.
Okay. We'll just resolve to say that we have no idea what's going on. All right. But what hopefully we do have some idea of what's going on is the next segment that we like to call Quick Questions. Quick Questions. Now, in this Quick Questions segment, you, the community, ask us, monster handlers, some questions using the hashtag MyStreamingMonsters, which you can see down there below in red. That's how you can send us a question on our social media channels on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and we'll scoop them up and we'll answer those questions here on My Singing Monsters Live. And today is no different. Monster Handler Eric, what's our first question for today's Quick Questions?
This first quick question comes from Nitro Riff, and they ask, why do Stuart and Magpie have Festival of Yay costumes, but they aren't on any islands together?
Well, I think that it's important to remember that no matter where you are in the monster world, just like Scrooge, you can keep the spirit of Yay in your heart all the year long, and you don't need to be surrounded by decorations. You don't need to be surrounded by fripperies, although of course that is nice. But it's important to keep the Yay spirit alive in your heart all year long. And so that's why, even though Stuart and Magpie do not share an island, they are perhaps reaching out to each other across the across the chasm of space and time in order to share in a lovely yay-tide moment.
Wasn't that nice? This next one comes from @Friggin Fungus, and they ask, how tall are the Celestials?
Friggin Fungus, great username, by the way. It depends on what form of Celestial we're talking about. If we're talking about the ancient, wizened sort of full-on elder mode of the Celestials that we can see in Dawn of Fire, these are among the most statuesque monsters for sure. I'd say that they're kissing up to about Wubbox height there. So on average, I'd say that they're sitting at about 11 to 13 or 14 feet tall. These are big monsters that you would be dwarfed by them, unless of course you're a professional basketball player, at which point you'd be less dwarfed by them. But they're still quite big. Now, on the other hand, the revived Celestials on Celestial Island in My Singing Monsters are a fair bit more diminutive. They are even smaller than your average monster. They're quite a bit shorter than, say, a mammoth or a pom-pom on Celestial Island. And that's by virtue, of course, that they are sort of beginning their life cycle anew. They got petrified in the collapse and the descent of Starhenge, and then when it became Celestial Island and they were excavated from the detritus, I never know how to pronounce that word, and they were revived, of course, using the same spark of life technology, if you want to call it, sort of technology magic. They sprang out of their old petrified wizened forms and became their brand new reborn, much like a phoenix, forms, and those are quite a bit smaller.
That brings up an interesting point. So here's a quick question from Monster Handler Eric for you. Since many humans, I know obviously monster science doesn't work quite the same as the human world all the time.
Of course.
Many humans start out small, grow larger, and then begin to shrink again as they become elder. Do you think that it's possible that the Celestials somewhere in their lifetime might get even taller than their elder forms?
Or perhaps are their elder forms a diminished form of some sort of intermediate stage that we have yet to see them sort of in the prime of their lives? I don't really know. It's certainly an interesting idea to speculate on, Monster in there. Okay, it's definitely some food for thought there.
Very cool. Okay, the next question comes from Logan Peters 89, and they ask, why doesn't the rare Cana dress up while the common Cana does?
Logan. Yes, rare Cana is a very ancient monster that precedes all known forms of the common Cana. But you must remember that it has only just reintegrated itself into monster society. It was sort of chilling. It was hanging back for quite a long time. And so perhaps something like Yay celebrations, or at least modern Yay celebrations, who knows what they were doing back in the day, in the Dawn of Fire, but these modern celebrations might be brand new to the rare Cana. They still sort of need to be onboarded, so to speak, to the Festival of Yay, the norms, the customs that all the other monsters are familiar with at this point. So that's why Cana, and I think the other thing too is we got to remember a lot of attention was on rare Cana, and we know that common Cana was sort of perhaps feeling a little bit like its own candle had been snuffed out, so to speak. But remember, your candle does not dim when you light another candle, Cana. So perhaps it was just trying to be extra festive this year in order to draw attention back to itself. Maybe a little bit of vanity there on Cana's part. Not sure.
Does that mean that rare Cana's first exposure to a seasonal could have been Gobbligore? Because that's quite the first impression.
It certainly is. That would be unlike many monsters' impression of knowing the rest of the seasonal crew. Yes, if Gobbligord was the first, that's quite the first impression.
All right, this next one comes from @Zoot80462714, and they ask, since the teleporter from Dawn of Fire takes young monsters to the Outer Islands, if they were somehow able to repair the teleporter on Mirror Plant Island, would it take the monsters to the Magical Islands, wherever the Outer Islands are, or somewhere else?
Zoot, I must say you're displaying an uncanny level of lore knowledge here in your question. So, first of all, congratulations on following the rather twisting and weaving path that has been laid out, especially as far as the sort of alternate timeline of the Mirror Islands is concerned. Now, if the monsters on Mirror Plant Island were able to get that teleporter back up and operational, I'm not entirely sure where it would lead. I don't know if any monsters living in that particular alternate timeline have quite the know-how to repair it in a sufficient way so as to know exactly where they're going. And of course, in the modern age, the idea of teleportation no longer requires a structure necessarily. You just need to be of sufficient level in the modern monster world. So I'm not entirely sure. We do know that the teleporter, yes, sort of is linked to the various outer islands in Dawn of Fire, but you're right. In the modern age, it's sort of unclear what the fate of the outer islands is in the alternate timeline. We know that the continent did break apart, just like in the main timeline, in the main reality. But who knows what the fate of the outer islands is in there? I don't have an excellent answer for this, but it does open up a proverbial can of fleechworms and lots of speculation to follow, I'm sure. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on what exactly is going on there, Zoot, because I think it's an excellent question.
Indeed. This next excellent question comes from Sasha's Dancer, and they ask, how did Yule make their way to the Colosseum? And, since the Yule's arrival, does this mean the rest of the natural seasonals will arrive in future updates?
Sasha Just Dancer. How did Yule get to the Colosseum? Well, it made use of the same sort of monster tech as all of the other monsters that have sort of followed in the initial footsteps of the explorers Mammoth, Noggin, and Toejarmer there aboard the Spirit of Adventure. They use teleportation, of course, as mentioned earlier in the show. If you have a level 5 Yule on your cold island, that's all it takes in order for the magical vibrational energies of teleportation to start to rumble and surround, and the potential is there for Yule in order to be teleported directly to the Colosseum and to be reborn in the nursery there. It notably does not make use of its comet, so far as I know, unless of course that monster, unless of course a Yule passing by overhead on the Colosseum manages to produce an egg and then sort of alley-oops it into the nursery. Typically, Yule gets there via teleportation just like everybody else. And in terms of those other seasonals that you mentioned, well, I don't have any information about such a thing as this. Certainly it stands to reason that if one seasonal is there, then it's certainly the only seasonal that could possibly ever go to the Colosseum. Isn't that right, Monster Handler?
The Colosseum has its seasonal now, so...
Exactly. And I'm sure that on the horizon, as the next seasonal event approaches sometime in 2021, perhaps the Season of Love, I'm sure that the status quo will be preserved and that Yule will be alone
still
there on the Colosseum. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Bah.
Next question comes from Aiden Endicott, and they ask, will there ever be rare magicals discovered? Also, if psychic monsters can see into the future, have they seen things the entire time that we haven't, such as Light Island or rare fire elementals? Kind of two separate questions there, but I'm excited to hear the answer to both.
Rare magicals? I don't know, Monster Handler Eric. Remember, these are some of the newest monsters that have been discovered in the monster world. The bone elementals, the light elementals, the fairy elementals.
They are rare in a sense. Not in the game sense, but I mean, we just found them.
That's a good point, Monster Handler Eric. So if they are out there, who knows? I mean, 2021 is a brand new year. You know, the exploration of the monster world could continue. There might still be more to discover. I don't really know. And then second part of that question, if the psychic elementals can see into the future, could they see this the whole time? Now, what's important to remember about psychic elementals is that they are perhaps notoriously secretive. If they did see any of these events before they actually transpired, they certainly didn't say anything to us monster handlers. So
that's right.
we were as much in the dark about it as you. So if they can see these things in the future, as was alluded to in a recent social post of ours, they've certainly kept it to themselves.
That's right. Despite asking the psychic monsters, we were as much in the dark about White Island as you were.
Yes. Yeah. You caught that I worked that in there. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. And that leads us to another very good part of the show that we like to call the Stump of the Week.
Oh, the Stump of the Week. Now, in the Stump of the Week, the community, and specifically one member of the community, already knows the answer to this question, and they're trying to bamboozle me, Monster Handler Matt, and see if I know what's going on. So, who asked this week's Stump of the Week question, Eric?
This stump comes from MSM Mammoths, and they ask, how many ornaments are on Yule's fursuit Coliseum costume, and how many of them are red?
Oh, yes, I should definitely know this. Perhaps Monster Handler Michael can bring the graphic back up earlier. No, that's not a serious thing, Monster Handler Michael. He was ready, though. He was going to help Monster Handler Matt there. A good friend, a friend indeed. And I'm the friend in need. So just spitballing here. I'm gonna say that there are eight ornaments.
Okay.
On the Yule, because I have been staring at this fursuit costume quite a bit. And just because 4 and 4 doesn't seem artistic. And we know that Yule is definitely artistic. I'm going to say that the split is 5 and 3. 5 and 3.
Okay, but which one of the split numbers are red?
I was hoping that you'd just give me the answer. I think that there are 5 red. 5 red.
Wonder Ganya, you got it.
Yes!
8 ornaments, 5 of them are red. Woo.
Hooray! What an exciting thing to have happen for me to get the answer correct. That doesn't happen very often.
It was very interesting logic there too. With the I understand the artistic flair. While symmetry is definitely an artistic measure, especially in the monsters universe, everything's a little off kilter.
Yes, so you got to go a little off kilter. That's what's sort of the spirit of the monsters. Okay. Also in the spirit of the monsters are the glorious monster pieces that were sent into us by the community. Again, using hashtag MyStreamingMonsters. Let's take a look at them now. Oh, we've got a beautiful flugel here from Invention from YouTube, or YT, Invention from YT. And here is a glorious flugel that is just chilling in a festive costume. Now, this costume has appeared in the past, not in My Singing Monsters, but in fact in Dawn of Fire, as being worn by the young flugel on the continent. An interesting piece of trivia there. It's a factoid for you there. Invention from YT. Obviously, this user knows their stuff. Okay. Next up, from JK Universe. Uh-oh, isn't this just magical? We're facing off against a Fiddlement, a Gloptic, and a Hollow. Ooh, this makes me nervous. What are my options here? I can fight, I can act, I can choose an item, or I can go Mercy. I don't know. Against these 3 monsters, I would definitely choose Mercy. There's quite a bit of skills here across these 3 monsters. We've got a light monster, a psychic monster, and a bone monster. So they've got pretty good representation there from the magical class.
I'd choose Mercy for me. I don't think I could win against this trio.
Yes, I'd be worried about that as well. Very well done. Love the simplistic line art here, the pixel line art here from JK Universe. Well done. Next up, from Maxine Mopria, we've got, this is like a Krampus version of Yule. I might even dare to call it sinister. It gives me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies.
It's monstrous.
It is certainly monstrous, but hopefully what it's carrying there are toys for well-behaved monsters and not anything too sinister. Perhaps it's coal for misbehaving monsters. I don't know.
Or the bakery.
Exactly. Maybe it just sort of ran out of fuel there and decided to toss in a little bit more juice there into the bakery. Let's hope that that's the case.
Incredible art there.
Yes, beautiful, haunting. Next up, from Minster Vinster, we've got a beautiful scene here that's been customized here. There's lots of exciting things going on here. There's various monsters that are not necessarily endemic or native to Cold Island, but they've decided to join in the Festival of Yay Fun just because I can see Incisor, I can see Snizer there. What a beautiful frosty image here. It warms my heart, despite the fact that the temperature of this image looks like it's quite chilly. So well done Minster, Vinster. Next up, from Rakapaka, Yule comets into the battle. This, of course, a reference to the fact that Yule has joined the musical fray on the Colosseum just this past week and is now available to add to your teams for all sorts of quests.
You know how I would describe this art?
What?
Smashing.
Oh, smashing. Yes, smashing, Erica. Yes, it's certainly smashing. Excellently well done, Rakapaka. Next up, Sasha Just Dancer has here an awfully sweet image of a Yule. Perhaps it's accepting this present, perhaps it's about to offer this present to a friend, but either way, we know that its heart grew 500 times sizes that day. because look at those little eyes. Oh, they're twinkling with the warm-hearted integrity and the spirit of giving. Isn't that nice, Sasha Just Dancer? So sweet. Next up, from Snowmander11, whoa, we got a Christmas smash here. Here's a Yule that's been wronged and is deciding to perhaps non-constructively take it out on an inanimate object here. It's flinging around a yay tree, perhaps about to bonk someone over the head with it like you see in wrestling. But hopefully the Yule can sort of calm down before the Christmas smash completes and it can just sort of set the tree down on the ground.
Well, I believe it's gearing up for Colosseum here. That's the idea.
Yes, I get that sense as well. And based on those angry eyebrows there, a consummate V, you know that it's quite unhappy.
It's ready to go.
You know it. Next up, from Spit Junkie, lots of exciting monsters here, depicted in ways that we've never seen before. I love the idea of Thwack wrapping its tongue around its neck as sort of a holiday scarf. Love that idea. What have we got there? We got Stuart there drinking marinade as a smoothie.
Marinara.
That's not marinara. Sorry. Yes, I thank you for the correction. Marinara is a smoothie, and Stuart would never tell you otherwise. And I can independently confirm that that's the case. Who else do we have there? We got Dentious, we got Cantarell, we got Giger, Thrumble, and Theramind. Lots of exciting monsters depicted in a rather unique art style. I love this Spit Junkie. It is very interesting stuff.
Love it.
Beautiful. Next up, from Hokey Pokey. Hokey Pokey. Oh, this is such a beautiful image. Oh, we've got a Ostrich and some Ostrich chicks. They're gazing into the glorious night sky, taking in the beautiful luminescence of the stars. And I gotta say, Ostrich has never looked better. Ostrich is sort of I don't want to insult the monster, but it's a bit of a gangly, awkward-looking creature, and that of course is by virtue of the fact that it is so specialized to its environment, to its habitat on Air Island. But here, it's never looked better. Beautifully done, Hokey Pokey. Then we've got the yellow D-Pie, yellow dyed pie. And here we've got a lovely yay-tied image of the 4 single-element magical monsters. They've reunited for the holidays, although it looks there like Flores sort of channeling its best sort of granny vibes there, and I think it says how to get your friends to stay quiet. That's been euphemized there. But perhaps Flores is sort of looking for a little bit of peace and quiet around the holidays, as we can see Theramind and Clacula and a maskless flute fly there.
It's flying right off there, yeah.
Yes, trimming the tree. So remember, everyone, if you don't get along with your relatives, make sure to extend the benefit of the doubt this holiday season and try and meet them on their level. I'm sure that they can win over Flores, but I love the story being told in this Yellow D-Pie monster piece. And then finally, we'll conclude with a memester piece sent in from a meme lord 998. Me puts a common monster. Well, box, is it for me? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Well, box, you got to be patient. If a monster is going to be boxed and sort of join you in the internal architecture of your otherworldly shrinking technology and live sort of in the eternal playground of the inside of the Wubbox, you got to be patient. The time will come. Don't push your luck. Don't press it. but a very funny memester piece there, a meme lord 998. Okay, that's almost everything that we've got planned for this episode of My Singing Monsters Live. We, of course, have to speak about the giveaway. Now, the giveaway for this episode 109 of My Singing Monsters Live is, perhaps unsurprisingly, a Yule. Now, some people might be wondering, well, what if I already have a Yule from years past? But do you have a Yule on the Coliseum? Since it's such a brand new addition to the game, perhaps this can be the Yule that you teleport over to the Coliseum in order to be eligible to participate in the Days of Yay seasonal quest. There's all sorts of things that you can do, and if you've already done that, who wouldn't say no to an extra Yule? Am I right, Monster Handler Eric?
You can always use another Yule.
Exactly. It's the time of year where Yules aplenty are being flung around in their various comments. So, we have selected the winner of this episode 109 of My Singing Monsters Live. And Monster and Eric, could I get a drum roll, please? The winner of today's Yule prize is Isidoro Lobato. Congratulations, Isidoro. Now, as Monster and Eric said off the top of the show, please send us your BBB ID/friend code in My Singing Monsters so that we can deliver you your brand new Yule. And we wish you all the best if you do plan to recruit that Yule for a higher calling on the Coliseum and to get that special fursuit costume and that special Days of Yay trophy as well. That Days of Yay trophy design, just tickles me pink. I think it's so beautiful. Beautifully rendered in metal. Okay, so that's almost all that we have planned for today. We do have a special announcement that we'd like to say to the entire community that is tuning in, and that is that next Friday's episode on Friday, December 18th is in fact, and cue the graphic Monster Handler Michael, going to be the final episode of My Singing Monsters Live. We have, as of this episode, we have completed 109 episodes, and that's not including all of the special seasonal broadcasts and premieres that we did. We're looking forward to 2021, looking to change things up, sort of diversify how we communicate with you, the community, but we do want to go out with a bang. So what we'd like you to do is send us your monsters-related creations, your monsters-themed creativity, using My Streaming Monsters for starting this week, running all the way to next Friday, December 18th. And we sincerely hope that you'll join us on that day for the final episode of My Singing Monsters Live. In terms of what's coming in the future, we have lots of ideas, we have lots of plans. We might start to get into them next episode, 110 of My Singing Monsters Live. But in the meantime, don't worry, we'll be in touch and we'll stay tuned and let you know all of what's going on. Now we are.
Maybe because the last one, maybe.
Yes, Monster and Michael mentions it because it'll be the last episode of My Singing Monsters Live. Who knows? You might be going absolutely stog wild with the giveaways. It might be a super-sized episode. So there's lots of exciting things to look forward to for the final episode of My Singing Monsters Live, episode 110, next Friday, December 18th. Okay, so with that announcement out of the way, I'm looking forward to the future. I'm very excited to see what 2021 will bring because we're switching things up. And don't worry, us Monster Handlers are not going anywhere. We're just coming up with something new, something that'll make you happy. Okay, so that's just about all the time that we've got for this episode of My Singing Monsters Live. We'd like to close it off today with a composer piece that seems especially relevant this week as it was revealed that a certain member of the My Singing Monsters community seems to be really vibing this time of year and is enjoying lots of success with a new song. But we'd like to sort of throw back to the OG song here that has been beautifully arranged by Maxwell Van Gulik. And you know what? I'm not even going to announce it. It'll speak for itself as soon as it comes on. So until next Friday, Monster and Eric, thank you for being an excellent co-host today on this episode 109.
Always happy to be here, Monster Handler Matt.
Thanks for all of your help, Monster Handler Michael.
You're welcome.
Always a pleasure. Please enjoy. There he is. Please enjoy this special composer piece, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Friday on the final episode of My Singing Monsters Live. Until then, happy monstering!